When John Davison Rockefeller Sr., the wealthiest and therefore the greatest individual of all time, founded the University of Chicago, he did not intend for it to become a liberal playground full of safe spaces and political correctness in the name of human decency. For too long, the conservative voice has been silenced on campus by the liberal mob, but no longer. I would like to welcome you all to the very first episode of the Chicago Phoenix, with your brand new champion of conservatives on campus, me, your host, Ron Cormack. This show is meant to do the unthinkable. Thinking. Saying not what the public wants to hear or thinks is best for society, but what they need to hear. The stuff no one else is willing to say, like how no one cares that Snell Hitchcock is centrally located on campus when their designated dining hall doesn't even have an ice cream bar. And no matter what the liberals on campus tell us, we won't listen when people tell us to shut up or that we don't know what we're talking about. We will not be silenced. Which brings us into our show's most important topic for today. Trying to silence us through a mandatory lockdown.
A story new at 10, a COVID outbreak at the University of Chicago. Fraternity parties being blamed for at least 50 cases.
On Wednesday, administration put campus on lockdown in response to a large number of cases stemming from an off-campus frat party. And let me say, shame on them. All of these COVID restrictions, like banning frat parties or isolating people who have tested positive, they're just overkill. In fact, they infringe on students' rights. There's one party and one party only to blame for me being trapped in my dorm room, and that's the administration. Now, a big question on everyone's minds is, how are the frats responding to this? We have an official, exclusive statement here directly via a trusted form of communication known for its accuracy and legitimacy. U Chicago Secrets. I'm the head of social at AEPi. Honestly, the root of your guys' anger about our party is that you're all losers and virgins. So, on the one hand, I can be angry at the frats for shutting down the entire campus, putting our lives at risk, forcing my show to go remote. But on the other hand, I don't want to be a loser and or virgin. It's a pretty airtight argument from AEPi, and I don't really think there's a good rebuttal. I looked through secrets and absolutely no one has a good response. Look at this. Everyone in housing is literally being held hostage by a couple of Greek life organizations. You're being held hostage? But what about the poor frats? You've already been staying inside, so it's not like there's a big difference. But them, partying every weekend, the occasional accusation of sexual harassment, who are they going to harass now? They've just had their entire way of life mercilessly ripped from them. So have some sympathy. My heart goes out to you, AEPi. It really does. Another big story of this month is that UChicago will be switching its food service provider from Bon Appetit to Chartwell's. What I was shocked to find out is that both companies are owned by the Compass Group, a food service company based in the United Kingdom. This is the same month where the CDC announced that the leading strain of coronavirus is from where? That's right, the United Kingdom. You want us to trust the same guys who gave us COVID with what we put in our mouths? Can the British really be trusted not to poison us? I mean, it might not even be intentional poisoning. I've had British food. The university also announced recently that UChicago's Polsky Center just launched the country's first quantum startup accelerator. This just goes to show how our school holds the best and brightest minds of our generation. I mean, can you name any other school that can accelerate quantums that fast? No one else would even know what to do. But we all know what we're talking about. I could spend all day talking about those startups that are accelerating all the quantums and all that. But look, I don't want to get into it. But they're saying that it's an incubator to leverage the region's quantum ecosystem and bring innovations to the marketplace. So, pretty crazy stuff, if you ask me. We're really witnessing history over here. In other news, the UCPD are seeking a renewal of their law enforcement certification, as required by the law. Frankly, this should be a non-story. Our police department is a fundamental part of our campus. What would I do without the leering gaze every night when I'm coming back from a late night study at the reg from the lone police officer on a street corner? Or the comfort in the implication that our school neighborhood is so dangerous we need armed security patrolling in case that something happens to me. They're a great source of income for the Hyde Park community, where brave officers can be paid to stand on street corners all night and do nothing. And who doesn't love emails from Eric M. Heath? They're the kind of good law enforcement that we all celebrate, which of course means that the far left on campus wants nothing to do with them. Folks, the UCPD is under attack. Organized leftist mobs are taking a bid to stop their accreditation by calling in and talking shit about the UCPD. We can't let the mob tear down the reputation of our police department with complaints about unequitable policing or low accountability. I call on my loyal, freedom-loving viewers to call this number between 12:30 and 2:30 p.m. today. Call the number on screen now. Flood the accreditors with hundreds, nay, thousands of calls. Let them know how much UChicago loves our boys in neon yellow jackets. Let them know. It's on your mind. Our last story today. The university announced their plan to reinstate the residency requirement for first-year students, which is great news. So sad to me that current first years haven't gotten the opportunity to experience true dorm life, Roll out of bed, get your stuff together for your first class, tearfully recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag in your room, get ready for your ironic pro-life choose-your-own-adventure board game night, text your friend if he's free for lunch. He says no again, but that's okay. Because he's probably really busy. And besides, you don't have anything to prove because you're still mama's special boy. Dorm life gets pretty crazy. Look, everyone's talking about the frat parties, but have we all forgotten about my crazy young Republican mixers? I remember people got pretty messed up at my Ayn Rand book club brunches. So at least we have that to look forward to next year. That's it for this week's show. Next week, we have a special interview with the manufacturers of UChicago's most famous whiteboard. See you then.